At the moment, I am at the Needham Research Institute doing comparative philosophy with Sir Geoffrey Lloyd, who uses an anthropological approach towards comparison of philosophy. And he specializes in Greek classics as well as Chinese way of practice. In some cases, I think philosophers will be hesitant to use too much of an anthropological approach because they think that it is diluted in terms of the essence of what is being compared. From my view, I think it's absolutely necessary to use an anthropological approach because of the fact that we cannot, when we're comparing philosophy, which is the mode of thought behind a civilization, not to include aspects of culture. Culture is a very difficult conception to define. We have Carl Jung, who discussed culture as the unconscious behavior or knowledge within a society, and oftentimes it is very difficult to clearly put your finger on the aspects and factors affecting a culture. In most cases, culture is looked upon as the layman's definition: art, performances, an expression of what is unconscious within a society. But actually, culture in the Chinese conception and in Chinese philosophical concept, we can say that it is the equivalent to what they call Tian, which is the heaven or the sky. There, it is the consensus of what is known as a social norm. In order to analyze a culture, and without analyzing culture, we are not able to really understand the way in which a civilization thinks. So, what is culture? Culture is made up of so many different aspects of a society that we can look upon an analogy of making a pot of soup. Why making soup? Well, the Italians, they make soup. The Americans, they make soup. And the Chinese, they all make soup. But everyone makes soup with similar ingredients. But at the end of the day, the preference for the taste is very different. For example, we all have to start with water. So all different nationality, they have to make their soup with water, but then they all put in maybe cabbage because cabbage gives a sweet taste. Some put in meat or fish or pork or whatever they put in. But some, like the Americans, they like their soups to be creamy and thick. The Chinese, they like their soups to be very clear and transparent. They call it qing, So the preference is different. So culture manifests different preferences of the people. And ingredients can also have different levels. Just like in culture, everybody in the culture, they all want their children to be disciplined. They all want society to be harmonious. They all want peace. but they all manifested in a different way. So the different type of ingredients can have different levels. For example, water is a common thing that you need for soup, but then meat or fish or whatever it is can be more or less depending on how thick or how flavorful or how clear your soup wants to be. And then at the same time, maybe they put in vegetables, they put in spices to give a different taste. And culture is the same. Culture, some society thinks that is wonderful to just let children be whatever they want and do not discipline them until they're 10 years old, and spoil them so that they can be more creative, they can be artists, they can be whatever. But in the Chinese society, they think that children needs to be disciplined at an early age. That is the Confucian way. So many different aspects of culture can be looked upon in terms of the complexity of what is made up in terms of culture. That's what I have to say for that.